accept. This is also understandable, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Nagal, thank you ever so much, as always, for such a great insight on such a difficult topic. We will continue to monitor all of the situations on the ground in Gaza and diplomatically. But we stay in North America as the Canadian government has stepped in to end the strike by Air Canada flight attendants, which began just after midnight on Saturday, forcing Air Canada to cancel all 700 daily flights, affecting up to 130,000 passengers. Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu has asked the Federal Labour Board to impose binding arbitration, which would order an immediate end to the walkout. Let's listen to her closely.
After 8 months of negotiations and weeks of intensive mediation, Air Canada and the Canadian Union of Public Employees Flight Attendants were unable to reach a tentative agreement. The government firmly believes that the best deals are reached by the parties at the bargaining table, and we will never stop believing that. As Minister of Labour, I have exercised my authorities under Section 107 of the Canadian Labour Code to direct the Canada Industrial Relations Board to order the parties to resume and continue their operations and duties in order to secure industrial peace and protect the interests of Canada, Canadians, and the economy.
While the dispute centres on wages and compensation, Air Canada has offered a 38% increase over 4 years, with a 25% raise in the first year. The union says it falls short, though, arguing flight attendants deserve pay for time spent on the ground. Let's now listen into what some of the leaders of the Air Canada component of COOP have said on the issue.
What we're asking for is not unreasonable. It is not a high demand. It is not that far off other comparators such as Air Transat. It is realistic and it is deserved. We are the national carrier and we have people operating in poverty. Like, that's disgusting. That's very problematic. So the company needs to be willing to address those things. You can't go the status quo and say 8% is enough, 10% is enough. It's not. You're still leaving them behind.
We are heartbroken for our passengers. Nobody wants to see Canadians stranded or anxious about their travel plans, but we cannot.
Well, hundreds of cabin crew picketed at major airports, including Toronto, Montreal, Calgary and Vancouver, joined by pilots in solidarity. Union leaders say the current pay structure is so low that food banks have been opened for crew members. Meanwhile, passengers face travel chaos, with thousands stranded or forced to find alternative flights. Well, joining us to discuss this situation and provide some more context, Vandana Singh, an aviation expert, live on the programme with us. Vandana, always a pleasure to be speaking with you. Let's look at this action that the Canadian government is looking to impose. How exactly will they go about ending these strikes?
Thank you, Joshua. First and foremost, a pleasure to be on your show. And yes, looking at this has been a prolonged bargaining game that's been going on for 8 months. Was there some effective communication? Was there, a proper interface, discussion to the key issues, which is primarily pay, and rightfully so? Comparison with the, industry benchmarks, be it Air Transat, that we know has gone for an increase over 4 years with a compounded rate of interest at 30% until October 2027, or be it United Airlines at a 40% increase, with Delta, American Airlines, and nearby players following queue. Why did it take so long now that the Ministry of Labour has stepped in? Look at the loss of the cost of opportunity, or the cost of the loss of opportunity, if I can say so, because you have 130,000 passengers stranded daily. You have a loss of 54 million daily on the USD on the airline itself, 10,000 flight attendants. So imagine now, with the Ministry of Labour jumping in, and rightfully so, because this has been going on for 8 months, that this be now quickly resolved. But when we talk about, to answer your question, quickly resolved, it will take minimum 7 to 10 days for rebooting, rescheduling, bringing everything, restarting online. And this is at the time of peak season, with 25,000 passengers affected daily who are outside Canada, and about 130,000 in not being able to travel. Now look at the loss of the opportunity. So it's high time that the Ministry of Labour steps in and resolves this as soon as possible.
Yes, and Vandana, as we bring our discussion towards a conclusion, of course, you've mentioned the economic impact there, but also the impact on personal people, families who have been waiting potentially all year for this one holiday, and this action has come in. Whose responsibility is it to not just look at obviously supporting those people and providing compensation to the hundreds of thousands who have missed their holidays, but also looking at finding a quick solution?
Joshua, obviously the onus is on Air Canada. They could have done this properly, as I mentioned. So they could have spoken with the Canadian Union of the Public Employees. They could have had transparent discussions, got onto key issues, and they should have resolved it. So the onus is on Air Canada, but of course, now with the government stepping in, the Ministry of Labour stepping in and saying, look, it's high time that this be resolved, then it's Air Canada that has to bear this brunt, because they should have solved this prior. And now it's peak season. They can't put passengers on the Star Alliance, they're a member of Star Alliance. They can't push passengers on United Airlines, etc., Lufthansa, because they're already so full. So obviously, the compensation, the entire refunding, the rescheduling, all of the onus is entirely on Air Canada, Joshua. They are there. They've been sitting on it for 8 months. They could have resolved it better. And I agree, 8% is no deal. They could have seen the industry standard benchmark. They could have seen where exactly the annual salaries or the monthly salaries or the hourly salaries, as we say, $28 an hour is nothing. They could have come to a solution and resolved it quicker. So onus is on them, Joshua.
Vandana Singh, as always, thank you ever so much for such great insight on that topic. We will, of course, continue to monitor all discussions